here we go. Are we ready? Hopefully we're back. I don't know if, give me a second to find out. Firefox is being annoying. Okay. So basically my computer froze mid, my whole computer froze. I shut down the stream, as per, protocol. Or rather, I shut down my computer, forced to reboot. It seems to be doing okay. We'll see how it goes. Internet's holding up so far, but that's a whole, okay. So, I should be back, hopefully. How did, the thing with the thing do the thing? Did it work? When did I get cut off? That's what I'm gonna ask. I mean, I'm sorry about the ads, but, I mean, if you subbed, you could get the ads for free, off. But also, it does help me a little. Oh, wait, it went back all the way back there? Dang. We had a whole, thing. I was explaining about how we did, Darren, and I didn't notice it had streamed. Dang. Okay. Hit the thing with the thing to make that happen right now. But, no, I had a whole explanation about how, Darren ran away with his brother to join the circus. Well, okay, not to join the circus, but, also, there was a circus. I think there might have been some performance involved, I think. But actually, his brother was a loan shark, and that's it. No, drow are an actual separate species, who, because of the way Tolkien and that written, are technically also a racial trope, but, yeah, they're their own completely separate species that yes, do have, as much as elves and dwarves and halflings and gnomes are, a collection of tropes and fantasies and subverted expectations and biology and culture and mishmash of all of them put together and to create something unique, and each individual within that race is also unique to themselves, and also, and so you always have the outlier atypical ones, because every group of people is like a series of bell curves. No, it's a little more, it's more nuanced than that. Yeah, it's certainly more nuanced than that. At least a bit. And I wouldn't suggest that it was. No, I mean, it certainly isn't, out of the, possibility of what, was going through the creator's mind, subconsciously when they were writing it, but I don't think that's what it was meant to be at all. It was meant to be its own thing, and, and yes, I think that having the evil races drow is kind of a iffy, but also I think it can be an interesting way to explore cultural ideals of good versus evil and individual merit, which I think is, a useful conversation that can be had. But yeah, my 150. Okay, so it probably froze way earlier. Hi, also welcome. Sorry that got screwed up. But welcome back, everyone. Hopefully everyone found their way back. Uh, and, okay, you guys are still seeing me, right? I mean, that's actually an interesting point. Drow really should have really pale skin. Now that's a thought. Now it's gonna haunt me, but also, don't the Drow have canonically like a really good, like an awesome good goddess who was their supported their people before Lolth, corrupted them all, if I remember correctly. Yes, fate is being weird. Okay. Also, fun fact, I have no a demon. Yeah, no, that's probably why the purple skin was probably a demon thing. That's true. It's the Underdark so much as it's not being underground itself so much as the Underdark with the bad vibes coming from the very depths of it's not just undergroundness. That's also true. No, sorry. Okay. Neuromancer is just like the cutest little Triceratops ever, and it's distractingly cute. Okay. Yeah, you can sound like that for now. But my point is, yeah, it's not just, my people are evil trope. What I could do, I'm trying to figure out how to handle, I have to change my fish's water at some point. They're doing okay. They're still thriving, and being adorable, and, glub, 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 being cute little glub glubs. And, I just have to do their tank again. Which means I have to buy 6 more gallons of water, among other things. And I'd like to go, I think maybe, ooh, oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I think they probably changed it to purple because of the unfortunate implications of that. But yeah, no, that makes some sense. Obsidian is a thing. But we were going to do Warhammer 40k today. And the Dark Eldar actually don't have the they have the same facial features as the regular Eldar. Fun fact, they don't have the drow. No, I just noticed my fish because I sit with they're my streaming buddies, so their tank is right here. I know you can't see, but it's if I spun the camera around, you would see it. It's the tank is right in front of me, so I'm cognizant of them at all times while I'm streaming, which is very important because that's how streaming buddies work. And to be fair, they are amazing. I'm just talking to me about fish because I love my little glub glubs, and it's nice to have a fish again. To have someone in the room again. It makes you feel less lonely having the fish around. I know it sounds silly, but they're my little friends, my little fishy friends. No one else has come yet. I'm hoping, for some friends, but we'll see how it goes. But what I was gonna do was do the thing with the thing, and pop the other thing in the other thing, with the other thing, and no, okay. That's all right. It's cool. But just vibing. Okay. It is a kind of weird time. It is 2:00 in the afternoon, on a Thursday, no less. But I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do on Saturday. I really should go into work. On the one hand, I really should go into work. On the other hand, I would rather stream, and also. I know. I need to get a better computer, better thingamabob. You upgrade other friends I don't need to upgrade on, because I got bestest people. But, you know, I got really good... Ooh, there's a FedEx truck. That's good luck. Sorry, it's good luck if you see FedEx trucks. It's a vibe. That is a thing. Alright. I mean, I could do a thing with the thing, but, like, feels weird. Alright. Yes, I have to do the thing with the thing. Okay. Oh, fun fact, if you capitalize the first letter of a link, it doesn't link, which is really annoying. Alright. Anyway, so you have to do the H as to be lowercase. That works. Okay, cool. Bob. Okay, but we had Darren, and I had, like, a really cool plan for him, and I was trying to explain about this really cool plan, but then, my computer went, blech. And, hi! Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that's the random emoji that they decided I was gonna have. I don't have any, emojis, but they just decided to give me one. A unique channel emoji, which I very much appreciate. Having unique channel emojis. So, yeah, it's my new one that just kind of happens now. I have it, so anyone can use it if you guys want. Just a waving little majiggy what's it. I have to figure out how to do, what's the technical term? Cooler little emotes. Like, you know, like maybe I could turn Neuromancer, like a tiny picture of Neuromancer, into an emote. Or draw, I suppose. I could draw one. I think it has to be a certain type of file, and... But he's just, cute, you know? And so, having a tiny little emote of him would be fun. And, you know... okay. But we were supposed to be doing a thing. Oh, right! You can do the thing where you... Well, I mean, let's see. Okay. What do you want me to roll? So, since you unlocked reroll... Okay, what do you want me to roll? I wasn't rolling anything, so... What do you want me to roll? I'll roll. Yeah, I'll roll randomly. What do you want me to roll? For? We could reroll anything. I just have to know what we're rerolling. So I know which dice to use. Here, let's put you over here for now. Then we'll put you over here. A D5? Okay, sure. Oh, we could reroll his wounds. Oh, and then I have to roll stats for him, actually. So that'd be fun. You should probably have saved those for when we roll stats for him. But, I still rolled a 1. He's determined to not... Alright, a mech wrestle check would probably be, I would say, if they're using the D10 system, would be a D10, a D100, boom, plus a, it would probably be a contested D100 roll. So you would roll your D100, and then, since you're not directly contesting them, you would do your D100, and then however much their defense modifier, which would probably be based on strength and skill. That would succeed because you're trying to roll under. So yeah, 3 would succeed. It's like rolling a nat 1 on a system like this is actually really good because you want to roll under. Oh, but we could do the thing with the thing. With the other thing, I should get pencils, is what I should do. No, that's a completely unrelated note that I should remember to make it happen at some point. Because I got the thing with the thing, and it would be cool. It would be a cool little thing I could do with channel points. But, for now, hang on. Let me go to the thing with the, no, that we'll do that later. Off with the, yes, okay. Bob. But I had a, let's see, flag is there, things are there, Triceratops is safely out of the way. Okay. We are going to, not that one. No, that's not the one I want. Alright, question away. I'm going to open up a thing while you, I forgot to reopen that, sorry. Ask away. I am very big on allowing for questions. Oh! But you didn't know that the demi-fluid flag! The educational! Sorry. Okay, so. This is my demi. Do I have the other ones? For educational purposes. Sorry, flags are kind of a talking, then there's well, this is my little demigender octopus with you see how it has the gray and then the light gray and then the yellow and then the white and then the yellow and then it would normally have dark gray and light gray stripes again, but because it's an octopus, it has them as legs instead. That's the demigender general. So then we have this one, which is the demi boy flag. It's a crude recreation. And then the demi-girl flag is just pink, and then the main demi-gender one is just yellow. And then this one is the demi-fluid flag. Basically, it's a, you know how there's the rainbow flag, and then there's the lesbian flag, which is, well, actually, there's several different versions of the lesbian flag, including the lipstick lesbian flag, which has an interesting history of pushing out butch women, so they kind of are trying to, so they reworked with the new community sunset flag, which has orange, and then you've got the trans flag, the non-binary flag. Yes. Well, yes. So that's the whole thing is, okay. Every gender identity has, even the ones that don't make a lot of sense, that only, like, really fringe people who are just use. Okay. Whew. Yes. The short answer is kind of. The long answer is, oh, there are so many flags. Do you not know how many flags there are? I mean, if you look at all the flags, there are a lot of flags. And people go in more all the time because they're like, well, I don't like the color of this flag. This is an alternate version. Like, there's an ultimate version of the NB flag, which gives off Pepsi vibes. But I like the NB flag, though. I do personally like the NB flag. But yeah, they're different groups of people. When you try to articulate a gender identity that's not just, male or female, one of the things you do is you create a flag. And, yeah, so there's a bunch of them. This particular flag is the demi-fluid flag, which is so I for a while, when I was first young and first realizing that femininity was this trap that was womanhood that wasn't really real, I latched on to a demigirl, which was I think it was, I don't know when it was coined, but the term was coined, but there was demigirl and there was demiboy, which was kind of like female, but kind of halfway between being completely gender neutral and being female. And that was something that I felt very strongly to, because I did have this high attachment to my own femininity, but I wasn't really a girl, per se. Then I went to try to find a demigirl flag, and then someone said the demigenders were just pushing gender stereotypes, which is not even about that at all. It's it's not just a lesser expression of femininity. It's more than that. But of course, it's really hard to explain that to someone who feels gender so properly, deeply, you know? So then, sorry, this is a lot of, I was looking into other, things, and I had this attachment to demigenders, and then I was thinking more gender fluid, but I never really felt particularly one way or the other, like hard anything. And so, demi-fluid was sort of a label that I came to that I felt really worked. So I vibed with it. The flag was kind of, it's hard having an ombre flag because they don't make all the cool stuff for the flags when they're ombre, because you can't really do stuff with ombre, like. And then there's just the demi-gender flag, which is a more umbrella term flag which is with yellow stripes, which is why I got this little guy, who's adorable. And, but it's my demi-gender flag octopus. I got two, the artist who did them, Jace, they were making, commissions because they were, yes, that's the pastel flag. That's my flag. And the non-binary flag, because everyone loves the NB flag. And the trans flag is just kind of a universal one. But yeah, that's the flag for the particular micro label that I feel best describes me. So I put it up here because I was showing it off at some point, and then I was just like, you know what? It looks kind of cool. I'm just going to leave it there. And pride flag and all that. Yes. Short answer, yes. Sorry. You learn so much. No, this one up here is the demi-gender flag. The demi-boy flag is just blue stripes. That's this one. I made one that was demi-boy and one was demi-girl because it was kind of like, I felt like kind of fluid between the two, and then I realized, hey, demi-fluid is an actual thing. I could just work with that one instead. But I did kind of, I got like little demi-boy flags and little demi-girl flags because that's all you can get. You know what I mean? Like when people make cool little flag stuff, they don't make, yeah. So yeah, no, I demi-boy and demi-girl kind of both fit, but demi-fluid's the real vibe. Yeah. Demigender, which is the yellow one, which is the kind of overarching theme for all of them, and it's a lot, I know, and it's a micro label within a micro label, but it fits, and I kind of vibe with it, so, sorry, they're adorable. I like that, but yeah, maybe I could get demigender, I could make a demi-fluid flag emoji, because if you can make, I feel like if you get enough things, they let you just make your own emotes and not just have generic ones that they assign you, like the little wavy guy, who's kind of adorable, I'm not gonna lie, but, yeah, but yeah. I mean, there is the gender wiki. You could, that would be interesting. Actually, I did create 2 characters who were specifically demi-boys. One was E, who was Grell Vernstein's son, and he was actually kidnapped, and for reasons that are completely unrelated to him being trans, but it was like a vibe. And then Andre, but Andre's not even out about it. But I was like, when I had a, so yeah, I was like, no, you know what? He has demi-boy vibes, and then I gave him that, and then. He was, what happened to him? Oh yeah, he got killed off and then reincarnated and in his great-great-grandson, who then was also Andre, and then, he got Earth blown up because, reasons, but also got the Gift of Light cantrip because, was gifted by it's a whole thing that my friend Matt created, and then we kind of broke his plot by, using the power of friendship. Basically, and a nat 20, like 3 nat 20s in the power of friendship, managed to break his entire plot. So, that worked. So Andre didn't get to, Andre was kind of neurotic and a healer, and he was fun though. I like playing Andre. And then, okay, sorry. Go. I don't take things personally. As much as I know I'm very good at not taking person. not blow up. Well, okay, E was also an NPC, to be fair. And then showed up again to let them, and they remembered to correctly use he and pronouns for E. Because, the first time I was, they kept misgendering E, and it was really annoying. Because my players, because they were like, I was trying to drop a lot of hints. But anyway, there was a whole thing. But they stopped misgendering him now, so that's cool. But he also gave them a mysterious box that contains a Warforged that has no soul, because we were going to have a player join the campaign who was going to play a Warforged, and then he had to drop out last minute. So I just left the body there because... No, they didn't blow him up. Andre might get blown up. I won't put it past them, because they're traveling on a spaceship in an alternate universe, and if we ever start the campaign again, there's a very good chance that the ship blows up. So, and Andre on it. There's Andre, what else? Oh, right, because I did this whole thing. And then Breeze was the coolest. Okay, we are way off. Oh, I will tell you a funny story, though. There's this, thingamabob, a character creator, an online, source, which is kind of like D&D Beyond, but, it's free, completely free, and a little more flexible, and, also, yeah, completely free, a little more flexible, and does work with Avre, so I created a bunch of characters, but they give you, like, when you first create it, it says name, and then they have a role for gender, and then, which is type in. It's completely blank. It's not like black, male, female, non-binary. It's actually, you could just type, which is kind of cool. And then, species, or race. And, so I put Breeze, who was one of my characters, and then Goblin. And then for gender, I wasn't sure. Yeah, I was, like, trying to figure out what their deal was, so I was like, okay, probably. And it puts it in as probably Goblin. And I was just like, you know what? That works. It's a vibe. It turned out he totally was a guy, and he actually was a trans guy who sold his... Well, no. He pledged eternal servitude to a fae for a dick, basically. And then she didn't do any other transition for him. And he got really annoyed about that. And then, but he still respected her. And then it turned out, oh, actually, I can do magic. He didn't even know he could do magic. Breeze is one of my favorite Faelocks. Sorry, I got way off topic. Because you tend to get off topic when the thingamabobs start thingamabob. No, that's not right. I need to, focus. Breathe. Okay. Sip of this. Technically in Warhammer 40k, yes. But this was a, well, not interesting. Because, Warhammer 40k, yes, they are fungus, technically. In, D&D Mythos, this was a D&D character, they are technically, humans. Or not humans, but humanoids. They reproduce their mammals, basically. Yeah, they're mammals in D&D lore. But that is an interesting question of Warhammer 40k. So, orcs have the Wa, right? Instead of souls, they have Wa. Which means that they can manifest themselves however they believe themselves to be, right? So, and they reproduce asexually, right? They're fungus. So they just, I don't know, are they fungus in the fantasy version too? This is an important question. Because that... No. Okay. No, that is... I don't know how to pronounce... Erhe? I need to figure out how to pronounce that. No, they're mammals. They are definitely mammals. And, actually, that's an interesting question, is that they wouldn't necessarily be ace if they were fungus. They just would reproduce asexually, but humans, even asexual humans, still reproduce sexually. You know what I mean? It's a secondary label, for the term, just means without sexual desire, but you could have sexual desire without a reproductive backing. hypothetically speaking. But the main question on orcs in 40k is with fungus, is that they, yeah, that's what it is in 40k too. And so you end up with planets that have like these populations of feral orcs because some orc law went through and they didn't burn them properly. That's the whole thing. But here's an interesting question. No, there aren't. But since they're fungus, right? There technically aren't any male orcs in Warhammer either. They're all just orcs. They don't have sex. They don't have sex characteristics the way humans or other species have sex characteristics. What they do have is gender characteristics, though. They're all described as boys. They all present masculinely, or at least in the human sense masculinely. They all, but a lot of the terms are boys, right? So they picked up masculinity from somewhere, either from some deep-seated cultural tradition, or because they wouldn't have maleness as the physical manifestation. They wouldn't have that because they don't have the sexual dimorphism, right? So they are either none of them male, and it's just humans code them as male, and because they're associated with things that are masculine in humans, like higher upper body strength, flat chestedness, and the sharper facial features from high testosterone content. Like, they have those features, so everyone just kind of says male. Or they have those features because deep-seated culture, which means that if orcs, and because orcs have the Wa and can manipulate real... Wait, they do? They don't have... Give me a second. Now I gotta search things. Yeah, no, I mean, it could be, it is a very effective way to have a urinary tract infection, or a urinary tract setup. And if they did have metabolic uric acid the way humans did, even despite being fungus, they would probably have that. But or it just spreads spores. I mean, yeah, or, interesting. However, what if they pick that up from humans? Here's an interesting question. What if they just, between legs has a lot of nerve endings anyway for purposes other than sexual reproduction, right? And you mimic human behavior, and, so maybe it isn't... No, but they might not be it doesn't matter if they're testicles. If, they might have other nerve clusters, that are there, and kicking between legs is still an effective tactic, and because the term just comes from borrowing from human language and, or other things. But here's an interesting question, though, is if orcs were exposed to the idea of masculine and feminine, I mean, that's also a possibility. But here's the thing, could orcs manifest as female or in more feminine forms if they believed themselves to be female? If you had a trans orc, could she manifest herself as a more feminine form because she has Wa instead of, so you can just kind of, so she would have Wa, and so if she understood herself to be female, if she were exposed to the idea of womanhood enough and found it in herself to be that way, would she then manifest herself in a more feminine form because that's how orcs work? You know what I mean? Like, is the difference between male and female orcs just that they're so dumb they all think they're male because that's all they have ever known? And as soon as one of them figures out that, well, why not? Because here's the question. If they're... so are they not, like, do they not have the same Wa where they, I mean, I know they don't consciously control what they look like, but do they not have Wa and the powers of the way that works? Because that would be an interesting thought experiment. I know no one else thinks about this kind of thing, but I've considered it. Quite a bit, actually. Because, Oh, so it doesn't have the weird world manipulating power, like the if things are red, they go faster simply because enough orcs believe things will go faster, or they if enough orcs make yellow things explode more, then anything they paint yellow will explode harder because they know it to be so, and there are enough of them around that it well, no, that's not necessarily just WoW. That's also the mech boys have genetic coding from the great old ones because lore reasons. No, but this is, that's a whole separate thing. The mech boys things work because but that's an interesting question, though. Is it they can't will themselves to have spaceships and such because they never had spaceships and no one had spaceships? Because a lot of the mech boys stuff only works because enough of their fellow orcs believe it'll work. Which is why you can't use orc tech, for anything else, except, there was one commissar who managed it, but he managed it because he was such a badass that all the orcs believed it would work for him, so it did. But, then he killed them all. But the point being, they don't obey the laws of physics. But they do have certain ties to that. But my point is it orcs and fantasies just don't have spaceships because they don't have mech boys, and if they don't have mech boys, is it a natural... they don't have any mech boys with the affiliation to build stuff, and because they don't have the mech boys, they don't believe in the mech boys building as being doable, so if they don't believe in the mech boys building, the WoW power doesn't work on it. They don't have any of that? They don't have any kind of power like that? Like the red stuff goes faster because all the orcs believe it to be red? Huh. That is weird. I mean, the orcs and their WoW is a big, huge thing in 40k. Right. Yeah, of course. But the orcs' WoW is a huge factor, and the way it affects reality is kind of like a thing. Dang. So the theory of it's a moot point in fantasy because they don't have this power that twists the world around them. But if an orc managed... Well, I think she would have to convince all the other orcs that she was female and that it was a thing. And if she managed to convince all the other orcs that she was female, she would become female. I feel like that would be... although how femininity presents in an orc is an interesting question in and of itself. But you would have to have all the other orcs. But if all the other orcs... yeah, no. Yeah, if all the other orcs... yeah, but that would be an interesting way to think about it. In 40k would be freaking... Sorry, I often thought about this. I've thought about this way too much, as you can probably tell. Okay, that was, stupid. Bad idea. I'm just... thinking too much, and my thoughts are going too fast, and... Basically, yeah. I mean, that is kind of how they are in 40k, too. To be fair, they're more English soccer hooligans than anything else. They're just kind of coded as male in the way people talk about them, but they're not really, But it's something that a lot of people have argued, that they have all male, the orcs are all male, but there's no reason for them to be because they're asexual. And then people are like, well, they're not male, they're this. And then like, no, but they're coded that way. And then they're like, that's bullshit. And I'm like, no, coding is a thing, but also, what if they weren't? Like, you can change that, and because it's not official, you have to accept that. And then it's a whole thought cascade of why, Like, Space Marines are all male because something in the androgen-sensitive secondary sex characteristics works with the gene seed, and I mean, that's true too. So I guess orcs would all use the pronouns they, them. Or they would have orc-specific pronouns that you couldn't pronounce in English, which would be an interesting way of looking at it, or common, or gothic, or... Now that would be an interesting way to put pronoun. That would be a whole thing, wouldn't it? Sorry, I'm just getting ideas. Don't mind me. I'm just getting linguistic ideas about Orcish language and how that works. But, Orcish, shenanigans. Okay, but I was gonna have a whole planet beset by orcs, and it was gonna be a human planet with, like, human culture and human stuff, and then the orcs were gonna ruin it, and then we got distracted by orcs and the nature of reality and what gender means, and, especially when you don't have the sexual reproductive things, but, yeah, so, the, Warhammer 40k, the Space Marines are all male because some secondary sexual characteristic, disallows the gene seed to work on the female body. Which is, I mean, pronouns are I, me, any word that replaces a noun. So if they use dees, does, also pronouns. Like, I feel like any language. So what, they just always use full names? All the time when they refer to someone, always use their name? I mean, for themselves, for yourself, you kind of imply them, but, yeah, do they always use full names? Well, I mean, not having names, sure, but, they never use he or she or they to refer to a fellow orc? Ever? Because pronouns are insidious. You use them so much you don't even realize. Now, third person... You can limit the use of third-person pronouns. And to circumlocute or... Right, I is the bestest. That's a pronoun, but, yeah. But not he is the bestest kind of deal. Or he is the worst. Okay, worth noting. Also, that's when they're speaking in common / gothic / not in their own native language, which may or may not be different. Which is a whole other secondary thing that would be worth looking into. But a whole, thing. Wow, we got way off topic. Okay. So what I meant to do was tell the entire epic story of how Darren was a loan shark. Well, Darren's older brother was a loan shark on this planet that was kind of like a a developing hive world. It was kind of becoming hivier and hivier. Really? Interesting. I mean, I don't think there officially is one in 40k either, but I would imagine that they don't speak common and or gothic when they're talking to each other, right? Or do they? That's an interesting question, though, is what... that's a whole question of... Probably for, social conventions of fantasy genre. But the questions of how would be interesting. Like, did they just pick up Gothic and because they start using it and then they all used Gothic, they all remembered using Gothic, so no one bothered to not do them, and it became like a like a pidgin sort of thing, where they're goth. It's not exactly the same as, say, Low Gothic for the Imperial citizens, but it's close enough that you can understand it, mutually intelligible, kinda. Yeah. But is it so it's just a dialect of Gothic because that's what they picked up over the years? Or, and do they never have a native language? Before they ran into humans, what language did they speak, you know? Because they existed before humans existed. I think about these things. Yeah, so how did they end up speaking? And Sigmar was the great dwarven hero who did the thing with the thing and became immortal. So if he was if I remember correctly, and then went around killing people because Warhammer Fantasy kind of went tank dived. But so they spoke the common tongue before the common tongue was the common tongue, which means did orcs invent the common? Yeah, I'm thinking that. That's what I'm thinking too. Like, did common tongue evolve from Orcish? And would anyone be able to pinpoint if that were true or not? That is an interesting question that now I have no answer to. And wow, okay. I've also been streaming. Well, hang on. I need to stop it. Exactly. That's my question, is when anyone admit it or even know or thingamabobs or whatchamajigs or, you know, stuffs. There's exactly. So if common did evolve from orc, that no one would admit to it. And then no one would know it because everyone would have died before they admitted it, and then it just would have been one of those things. That's a thought. Which, you know, Grave was talking about how, blah, 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 reasons thingamabob's, words. I tried not to get me off track or distracted, and I realized that we just got super distracted because I'm very easily distracted, but also I kind of just let the stream vibe. But dang, a short history version. All right. Okay. Right, so he was a human. Was Sigmar then a human? I always assumed he was a dwarf, but I don't know why. Okay. United all the nomadic human tribes to fight back the orc and the undead. Alright. I am learning lore. I like learning lore. Go on. So, he united all the human tribes, did the thing. Okay. Right. I mean, the answer is probably. So Sigmar's human, and they probably spoke their own language. Yeah, no, they probably at least had... I mean, they were probably very similar languages, and closer to each other the closer the tribes got. But, yes, they probably did have their own unique dialects that, I mean, they might have been mutually intelligible to each other. But, yes, they probably were at least distinctive dialectic patterns, like shibboleths. That would be an interesting question to ask. They probably at least all spoke their own version of common that was barely mutually intelligible, because that's how language works. But it wouldn't be unheard of that they might already have all spoken common. Depends on how disparate the tribes were, honestly, and how bitter they were against each other, and what was the relationships between them, and how much did they trade and fight, and all those other things. Like, how much did they interact? And okay, so Sigmar got the dwarves to help too. So that's an interesting question then. Yeah, I would say it's quite possible that all the the tribes had their own languages. That's why when I build, I like to make common just a language everyone uses, but it's not the only human language, you know? Huh. So, was Sigmar the Emperor in fantasy version of history? The Warhammer fantasy version of history? Was he the God Emperor of mankind? Okay, go on. Uh-huh. Okay, I'm following so far. Humans have power. So are humans evolved from orcs then? Is that a thing? They speak the same language. Right, but that was a power of warp. That wasn't power. That's just the natural nature of the warp. That's how the warp works. Oh, okay. So in 40K, the Emperor and the God, the Uniter of Humanity who became ascended godhood are one and the same. The God Emperor of mankind, who also ascended god, who was already a powerful psyker, and then gained more power because everyone believed in him. But that's how the warp works. That's just the nature of the warp. If enough people enough of any species believed in a thing, it would manifest in the warp. Any god would do so. That's how that works. So you just have to convince enough people you're a god, and they don't even have to be humans. They can be any creature, and you would manifest in the warp. At least as the warp works in 40K. Karl Franz. Okay. I might. Now I kind of want to do. Okay. Here's the thing. Now I really want to do a vibe. I want to do a Warhammer Fantasy history stream, and is the Count of Reichland always the Emperor, or is it that he is the Emperor and the Count separately? That's my one question. But also I have to end the stream because it is getting to be late, and I have to work, and I have to get on a bus, and I have to go in to do the thing, and I have to get there on time today, and also bust my ass and make bank and Alright. Ugh. I'll put it on the list of things, as well as more Greyhawk streams. So is he elected as Emperor, or elected as to the Count of Reichland, or elected for both? And was he elected for both at the same time, or was he elected for both separately? Because that's the question. A series of questions. Yes, that would be a fine. That would be a thing, and I will pay you back for half of it when we will figure out a way for me to pay you back. Okay, so the Count of Reichland is hereditary, and then he got elected Emperor. Okay. That makes sense. Oh. Huh. That makes sense. And then he was the count that was chosen to be the emperor. Okay. All right. I need nap. I need a nap, and then I need to get thingamabobs, and then I need to go to work, and then I need to do 100 other things. So I'm going to sign off. I'm going to give you this. I know you're not that into jewelry, but in case anyone else is watching. And wants jewelry. And wants to get 20% off jewelry because I'm cool like that and can hook you up. So, yeah, Relentless Rebels is a really good jewelry company. And they sponsor me. That's why I know. Yeah. We'll raid in. I know there's not much of... let's raid into Tea Time with Taryn. Because Tea Time with Taryn is really cool. Alright, let's go. Taryn is, I mean, it might just be me letting in, but that's okay. Alright, good night.